Welcome to Witches of Three.
Speak free. Speak free. Talking about witches. Talking about... The whole time because, you know, I'm me. I'm weird and I study things. But, you know, and I can say this for most of Oklahoma. This is going to be controversial, but I've wanted to say this for a long time. I have never found demons where I have not found Jesus. They go hand in hand. That's all I'm going to say.
They also, like, I mean, this sort of thing, like, you know, we threw Kyla in the deep end pretty quickly.
They did. But I wanted it. I wanted it really bad.
And she experienced, like, Tulsa is a vortex in its own right. That river that wraps around us.
Because the Catholic Church acted like they would make me a demonologist, but they didn't. No. I just had to study a whole bunch of shit, and that's why I'm as weird as I am. But they never let me do anything. So I went to Aquarian, I was like, let me do house cleanses. I need to understand this. I need to understand this part of myself.
Here's an apartment complex that's had 77 suicides.
Shanna was immediately like, you asked for it, bitch. You asked, you shall receive.
But she did. She went in there with like all of her herself and her energy and her fucking Taurus, and she was just like, I'm here. I'm fucking gonna do it. I'll go back 27 times.
Show yourself.
And you know,
I researched that people that really love to clear spaces, most of them are Tauruses.
I'm not surprised.
Most fucking
China shop. Like, I'm busting down all this glass. So here's what I'm saying. Like, these two are really connected to spirit in two different ways. Yeah. Like, I think Kyla really does do that shamanistic, and I know that's a bad word, whatever, but she does that thing, where she digs into the deep of things to clear stuff out.
I can feel the senses of the land, and I can feel the geometric shit. Like,
and I feel like Kim helps work the things from above.
She's
got brings them down to the people here.
She's got Neptune in the ninth house. So if you want to find out where your spiritual,
Japanese to me.
if you want to find out where your spiritual gifts are, I can look that up astrologically. But she has Neptune in the ninth house, which means
I'm surprised you remember that.
She's probably more comfortable at talking with spirit than she is talking here right now with us.
I love my spirits that hover around.
She really does. She really does.
It's funny, like, I choose to not talk to people's like grandma. I'm like, no, I'm going to talk to your ninth ancestor back, your uncle that you never knew, because I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want to clear that shit. So, call Kyla after.
But, so I went on this, like, spree for, clearing houses and stuff. But then I finally went to Kim and I'm like, man, I need help with this like spiritual thing. I feel like I can't control it. I don't know how you know this stuff and can just calmly relay it. I wake up at 2 a.m. and just get this. I don't really understand, but I need a little bit of help. And Kim was like, well, here you go. And she kind of explained it to me. And since I've been clearing houses and working with spirit more, my idea of spirit has completely changed. The further I leave that Christian mindset of good and bad,
right.
Anyway, we're going off on a lot of tangents, but Kim has a lot of amazing things to say.
You want to talk about how we kind of came to know that?
Bring it, Kim. Bring it, Kim. Bring it. That's why I had to have an extra cigarette before we went live.
Well,
I knew you'd talk about our childhood a little bit.
Okay. Well,
Kim and I had a blessed childhood.
We did have a blessed childhood. I will say that. So, I don't even think you ladies even know this. I don't know.
Well, I haven't said a lot of this stuff. I keep it really.
We're excited. Please.
Yes. Okay.
Share, please.
T. I'm the older out of Kyla and I. I'm 5 years older.
It's hard to tell because she uses all of S&K's products regularly and beautifully. So
I'm an Aries.
She's also a Libra.
We just look young.
She's a Libra rising.
Yes,
so it's symmetry and beauty right here. That's not what I have. And my parents told me constantly.
Please let Kyla not self-deprecate.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way.
Whatever.
People love me for some weird reason, but Kim's pretty.
Okay.
From that, no. Here comes the tea. Here comes the tea. Sorry, I'm just nervous. This shit's kind of weird.
We get together, all kinds of hijinks happen.
Yeah, that's true.
We're 5 years apart, and both of our parents are deaf. So, needless to say, since I came first, our mom and dad did not know what to do with me. That was a hearing
Two
child.
deaf people were not supposed to have a hearing child alone in the 70s.
Yeah.
That was not.
Yeah. So,
our grandparents freaked the hell out. It was not okay. It was a different world back then.
Yeah. So, we did have a great childhood. So our parents are great. But it was very much like
our parents are everyone's parents at Spirit Works, to be honest. Yeah.
Yes. It was kind of, what do we do with this hearing child here? Like, do we talk to her? What do we do? So there was a lot of learning on both ends. But I grew up in I was very quiet. I still am very quiet and reserved. I just am. Kyla's more the spokesperson of S&K, and I'm usually the one that just like makes product usually. For the most part, I'm getting better at it though. So I was very quiet. My parents, we didn't really have a lot of conversations. So it was just kind of me flitting about, and I noticed at night, I could see fairies, and I didn't really understand that. I just kind of was like, oh, this is what's happening. Like, they would come through and they would have like little costumes and things, and I just thought it was my imagination. So they'd come to me every night. I wasn't afraid. It was just kind of like, what happened? And again, kept it all to myself. I'm also a Capricorn moon, so I keep a lot of things to myself.
That explains her childhood a whole lot as well.
Yeah.
If you guys are studying.
Yes. So didn't think anything of it, but I always was able to. I never felt alone. Like, even though our parents and I, we didn't really have a lot of conversations, I never felt alone. I always felt like kids my age, or I just kind of thought like I had like a little friend group, but I just kind of felt them there, or I could see them. My dominant clair is clairvoyance. I mostly see things, so I would always see them and feel them. Then of course, as you grow up, people think you're weird. You shut all that off and just kind of do your own thing, and you just want to be a kid and be a young person and just blend in with everybody else. So close that off. And then, what was it, a couple of years ago? Well, we found out when our grandparents passed a few years back that we weren't the only ones being able to experience these things. Our grandmother, Grandma Pacha, saw, sensed, could talk to spirits. The house was haunted.
So one of the things I want to point out is, so our parents are deaf, so they're missing a sense, and so their other senses were really heightened.
Yes.
So Kim and I were never told that our spiritual experiences were false.
Right.
We were always told, yep, that's
Yes.
the lady that lives there.
Yes.
Leave her some rosemary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a
bedroom.
bedroom.
As you pass.
There was a bedroom that Grandma Pacha had that had toys in it that we weren't allowed to play in, and had a
They
child
were for
bed
baby Daniel.
that we weren't allowed to lay in the bed. So,
Yeah. I'm telling you,
yeah.
we grew up in it.
Yeah.
We
And
just don't
our
like
mother,
to talk about it.
our mother was the same way. She would be like, "Oh, well, that's the woman in white. I see her every morning. She watches over you two." Like, as we got older, and it was like, okay, cool, sure, yeah. So yeah, we didn't really put it together. We slowly are getting these little breadcrumbs of like, oh, this is a family thing. This is an ancestor thing. So, I actually went to see a medium who became my mentor a couple of years ago, because I just felt called to. Just left my day job, kind of wanted some guidance. And I went and sat with her, never had it done before. We kind of connected, and she connected with my grandmother, and she was like, you can do this too. She's like, you've been doing it. You just haven't had the training to understand it, because I was always the scared one growing up. Like, I would always shut down, don't want to look at anything, don't want to look at anybody, because it was too scary for me.
Well,
I had a vivid imagination.
We had some scary experiences.
Yeah, we had that. So I was kind of like, oh, I just want to go under the radar and not fuck anything up. So, but she was like, oh, well, you can do this too. If you get some training, you may not be so afraid of it. And because I'm kind of the nerd, I always want to understand why. I want to understand why things work, how they work, So she's like, hey, I'm starting a development group, blah, 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 in a month. You should come. And I was so excited, got a bunch of books and started reading all of the books. And that's kind of how I approach my whole practice. Like, I get a little, like, nugget of something, then I have to read all of the books and I have to understand all of it. So that's kind of how that started. And I went to the classes. And it was so strange because she was like, well, we're going to work on psychic energy and mediumship energy. Now, going into that, psychic energy is usually, you are getting that energy from like an actual person, somebody who is living and sitting with you. Yeah. So you can get things from them. You can understand. It's like reading auras is a type of using psychic energy, like psychometry, like touching objects, seeing things. I know a lot of people work with like trying to find misplaced objects. Like that's the kind of psychic energy, and it's usually derived from a living person, a sitter or someone you're talking to, or even yourself. But spirit energy or mediumship with spirit energy, it's from the other side. It's from Great Spirit, big S, and you don't really need a lot of the self to use it. You just kind of have to open up that crown chakra and just sort of connect.
You have to like really turn off the self.
You have to turn off the self
to really get that.
Surrender that ego and just kind of walk through it. So I learned that there are differences because I was like, I'm not psychic. Like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I can't do that, And she kind of explained to me, well, if you can do mediumship, you are psychic. So you're going to have to work with both. I still say that I'm not a good psychic.
It's just because you don't like people. But.
Yeah, I don't like getting into people's stuff.
I understand.
So, yeah, I don't like getting into, because it's like, I don't know if I want to get into that dumpster fire that you just brought in.
And that's a learned thing too. Yeah. Like, as anybody, all of us are Reiki practitioners, and like, my approach to Reiki is totally different than a lot of other people's because I don't necessarily want to get into your stuff. Like I can find your physical ailments and look for how that corresponds spiritually, but like I don't want to. So I understand that not wanting to, and like that's why we don't like those monikers. That's why, like, especially the three of us, we're like medium, or psychic. We have that psychic is in sign that we put out.
That sign,
but it's a joke.
Sign.
Like it's totally a joke, and like because that's not a word we fucking use. Right. But it is a fact. It's just like we didn't like coven, but we're a fucking coven.
So we don't like to use those words because there's so many scammers and all that shit.
Yes.
So
that's
Kim,
really
help us
Kim,
out
speak
with
on
that.
that.
Okay.
Yes, there's so many scammers.
How do you know if you're like coming? There's so many people that say they can talk to spirit because we all can.
Yes.
But like, how do you differentiate?
How do you know?
Well,
how do you know when you should ask for your money back? Or
Okay. Well, I will say this is how I was trained. I was trained as an evidential medium. So there is a difference.
Don't go to anyone else that's not an evidential medium.
Yes. That's if you've never been before and it's somebody you're not sure of and don't have a relationship with, I would say try to find an evidential trained medium. My mentor is trained in that as well. She actually went to Albert Finley, which is like the British like Hogwarts. I don't know how else to. It's just
it's what Hogwarts is based off of.
Yes. So she's trained in evidential mediumship. So what that means is if I have a sitter in front of me, what I need to confirm to that sitter that their grandparent is with them is I need evidence. So it's, what is your relationship to the sitter? How did you die? Is there a memory or is there a gift that you have? Like, just show me something so I can confirm to the sitter that you are here. Yeah. And it's, I usually try to get at least 2 or 3 good pieces of evidence with each person that comes through, or at least something that kind of seals the deal that this person is confirmed that their grandparent is here. So things like that. I usually, what is a way, that they can communicate with you? Like I ask questions. So it's sort of, it is a conversation. Like all three of us are kind of having a conversation. And I would say that if you need evidence, and don't be afraid to, if you are sitting with a medium that you are not aware of, that you have not vetted, if you just kind of picked one off of the internet, asking things like, there was a special gift she gave me when I was this Christmas or something like that. Don't be afraid to kind of probe the person you're sitting with.
To ask for evidence.
Yes. So,
if they're not giving you evidence,
start
asking
evidence
for it.
Yes. And I will say that it's important to be open to mediumship if you are here, because if you come in with your walls up, you're
not gonna fucking read me.
Work.
She's not gonna fucking read you.
That's what happened to me. I went to an evidentiary medium that's well known in this town, and I don't like to be read. And I went in skeptic as an asshole, and was just like,
a lot of witches don't like to be read.
You're not gonna fucking read. Like, have any of you read my tarot cards?
No.
And I wouldn't ask either one of you.
Right, exactly.
I don't anymore. But, I did back in the day, but not anymore.
So, but I'm just saying, that was me. It wasn't her fault. It was,
but no,
the things that she got weren't
but this
who
is a
she
good
thought
way
she was
to
talking
talk
to.
because,
But
I got asked the other day. I did mediumship with someone, and she was happy about it. But a few days later, she came back to me and she said, "Hey, I'm really mad you just didn't come up to me and say he was there."
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you don't understand how bomb mediumship has fucked up my life.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple of mediums that came up to me after my partner died randomly, and they took me on a wild ride.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why consent is always important.
Consent, oh my God.
Is important.
But a lot of people will doubt mediumship just because Kim's not saying, hey, your daddy's here. But no, she's not going to fucking do that.
I don't do the Long Island medium. I'm not going to approach
We're
people.
not cool with her.
No.
Like, we're not cool with her,
Also, like, I don't see dead people constantly. I turn the light off.
Yeah.
I call it turn the porch light on, like who's coming to the door. It's only when I'm ready to do it will I see it.
I'm out of candy. Until I got candy bowl on the front porch, you ain't coming in. I'm out of candy.
Yeah. And also, and I would say make sure the person you're sitting with does have some sort of code of ethics. You don't.
Oh, God.
I will not read for somebody that's under the age of 18. I do know some people who insist on bringing their children when their parents have passed. Things like that. The
You guys don't
is a big deal.
understand the influence, and this is what Kim understands. She understands the influence of what she can say to someone.
Yeah. It's a healing thing. It's not meant to be really traumatic. It can be upsetting. It can be kind of shocking if you get some sort of truth that you've never heard of.
But people need to know that they're getting that, know. Like, I really hate it when people are like, "Oh, I doubt mediums because they're not like Teresa, what the hair."
So being
lady
solicited
was.
by a medium is a red flag. Somebody who like maybe knows you a little too well, or like you've been interacting with them maybe on the internet, because I see this happening in like Facebook groups for witches. A lot of like, you've posted several things and then someone reproaches you and they're like, hey, your grandma's coming to me and for $75 I can talk to her.
And just
like,
watch for those general talks.
Yes.
Like, watch for those generalizations and stuff.
Your mother's here and she loves you.
Yeah.
And, I know that you've missed her, and, you can, when they're kind of thinking of oh, she loved the flowers you laid at her
Mediums
grave.
aren't supposed to think when they're like
it should be involuntary. And like when I do ancestral readings, that's how it is. Like it's like I'm doing a tarot card reading for you, but I'm like, oh shit, fucking the smell of smoke. Or
so this is interesting. So let's tell the viewers, because we all talk to spirit, but we all talk to it so differently.
Yeah.
So how do you talk to spirit?
So for me, like the immediate messages that I get are usually smell or just like an imagery,
right?
Because I'm an aura reader, so like it is very much like I'm
Shanna,
looking at
I'm going to say, is probably one of the best psychics we are around. She understands living energy like I think that's all that fire and that earth in her. Like, she's one of the best psychics around.
Yeah, it just comes to me in all the ways. Like sometimes it's like a cold, sometimes it's hot, but a lot of times it's smell for me immediately. And smoke smells or all the different smoke smells come to me very easily. But it's not like I go in for that. Like it just comes. And sometimes that's the message somebody needs to get. And then it's like, this is your ancestry. This is where they're coming from. This is what they went through. And this is why you're experiencing that as well. But visual stuff too, I saw dead people when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I saw marks on people. I knew when people were going to die. Like, I don't want that shit. Like, I turn it off just like you. I'm out of candy. The porch light is over.
Yeah.
But
you
I
can work towards that.
Yeah. And I don't want to, honestly, develop mediumship because I feel like I would be consumed with it.
Yeah.
It would be something where I don't think I would want to turn the light off because I'm a consummate helper, I still stop people in the fucking grocery store. I'm a little bit like that sometimes too. I might be a little like that fucking medium.
You gotta watch out though.
Sometimes it happens.
It fucked up my life. So
I don't
bad.
do it. I don't do it so much anymore, especially after it happened to me.
You know who you are. You fucked up my life so bad.
but it is about discernment, and it's about how much time I've been doing it. I didn't fucking offer that service until I knew that I could do it.
Listen, this is a serious ass fucking thing.
Yeah,
that's what
you gotta take all of it, and you know what I mean. I am prepared for people to come and cuss me out when I tell them shit, or you know what I mean. I think I got a voicemail on my phone the other day that just said dead, 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 and I'm pretty sure I know exactly who this person who sent it to me was because I told them that they were cheating and that the reason that they were so upset that day was because they were guilty of some shit.
Right.
And it was ancestral. Like, this is something that happened through their whole family and they need to clear that shit. Yeah. And they were not happy with my reading and, they fucking said some dumb shit to me. But, you've got to understand that there's a price that you pay for giving that information to people. And if you are not willing to stand for it and be insured and have all those things in place, you shouldn't be standing out there saying it, and your gifts need to be developed. There are so many aspects to it. We all just don't have one.
This is honestly such serious shit, guys.
If
you are giving messages from spirit, you need to make sure that that's not shadow talking. You need to make sure that's not ego talking.
Right.
You need to make damn sure before
those cards you're reading about you, not the person that you're reading for.
Before you tell that widow, that is a message from hers. Look at your own life. Are you
are you projecting?
You're projecting.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
And most new readers, that's what they're
doing. Yeah.
I will say, in order to develop, if you think you have mediumship abilities or psychic senses, this is where shadow work comes in because moving forward as an instrument of spirit and a mediumistic instrument, you have to be able to surrender and you have to be able to take a no when the person sitting with you is like, I don't know who that is. You have to keep probing because mediums work for them. I mean, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but if you're sitting here for me, I don't work for you. I don't. I work for them. They have a message for you, and I will convey that message to the best of my ability. And if I get a no from you, that's fine. Totally valid. You can tell me, I don't know who this person is, because it's happened to me. Somebody comes through and they're like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to put a pin in that guy. We're going to hold that guy, and then we're going to see who else comes through. And you have to completely surrender your ego. You have to completely trust it. And thinking when doing mediumship is not good unless you're trying to interpret the message. You have to say, well, I'm seeing, a dozen white flowers with a yellow ribbon around it. And it may not make any sense to me because I don't know what that message means. But I have to say, okay, well, I'm seeing white flowers on a hospital table with a yellow ribbon around it and a butterfly ornament or whatever.
You're talking to my mom.
I think she is.
Oh. That's so weird because that's exactly
is.
What I brought my mom in the hospital. You're gonna make me cry.
Oh no! Oh no!
I saw Kim's eyes doing the thing, and I was like, "What is she picking up on right now?"
I love you so much. Oh my god!
You. Sorry. Okay.
It's all right because I put a butterfly clip thing
works.
on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyway.
So with that, I had to surrender that. Okay, this is a perfect teaching moment. Is I think I'm just talking, and then it turns out that it was a message from Spirit for Shanna.
Yeah.
But I had to trust of like, okay, well, I don't know what this means to me. I could just be seeing this random thing, but I trust my connection.
Right.
That I'm like, well, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna see what happens and see if it means anything to anybody. And it may not mean something as instantly as it does for Shanna. This person may be like, well, I don't know what that means. And then they go home and maybe they get a delivery of white flowers with, So Spirit works in different ways. We don't always understand it. We don't, but it's a matter of trusting and just kind of like pushing through okay, if they say no, that's fine because I trust. I trust it. I know my skill set. I know my development. Like, I trained constantly, like, every day for, like, 2 years in lockdown. I was just, like, I live across the street from a funeral home, so, there wasn't a shortage. There wasn't a shortage. So, yeah.
So Shanna explained how mediumship worked for her. So I said, like, Neptune, the ninth house for Kim. It's like,
I went off on a tangent. Sorry.
No, we're fine. It's like otherworldly. Like, she just kind of connects. So I'm going to talk about. So I have the same abilities of Kim, but they manifest differently. Kim can just kind of say these things, and sometimes I can. I did a wonderful mediumship one time where I didn't understand why I had to start singing "This Little Light of Mine." But it was apparently the thing I had to sing, stuff like that. But anyway, I'm a physical medium.
I'm more of a mental. There is
so
difference.
This is what happened after my training, my first class with Kim. Man, so I'm getting up there and I'm supposed to do my reading, and I literally throw up in my hand, and I say, "That's Bearden Lake. I drowned," and like I just but it was just like a physical thing, and I literally like threw up.
I'm so glad that's not my gift.
Oh,
That's channeling.
It's it's
channeling.
hard. It's hard. It could be amazing, but it takes a lot afterwards. Like after I did that, I did read for that person, but I feel their death. If that's what we're talking about. And anything I do like physically moves through things. Neptune is my 6th house. That's how I move and every day. So Spirit does talk to me at weird times. And so we really want to Kim really wants to let everyone know that like everyone has different abilities. You just have to figure it out. We can help look at that astrologically, or you can come for a spirit consultation, but I just want to talk about how it all moves differently
because she
through us.
offers like not just a mediumship session, but also like a mini teaching sort of thing too. So please understand that like when we offer someone as a teacher through us, it doesn't come without like some sort of validity. Like we said, always there's no like licensing board, some of us have certificates for things, but honestly those don't mean shit. What means is that we're proof in the pudding. Like we'll if you're not satisfied, you know what I mean, like don't fucking pay me.
Just tell us.
Like
just tell us.
Pay me. But like honestly, like we're here to like help you through it, whether you want a reading or you want to learn or whatever. We're here for that. And these women are like living it. They're not just fucking talking the talk. They're living the shit. They've grown up in it. Like this is not bullshit. It's not bullshit to us. Like it's real. And I mean that was real.
Yeah.
So, and that's how that happens, and it happens differently for everybody. So mine, like Shanna is like I said, the most psychic person I know. Like she gets off of you. Like you tell her the whole story when you walk in here.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have to talk to spirit. Your fucking energy talks to Shanna. Kimberly seeds your spirit guides. I do too, but I have to go through something physical to deliver that message. And I probably see and experience, some shit you really have to want to talk about. Yeah. To...
Everyone's always like, I want a reading from Kyla. I'm like, no.
It has to, it's a little bit different for me. I have a lot, I know more sensory-wise, like the Taurus. Like, it's more, like, physical. I can go to your land and figure out what's happened. I can know how they, but it's more physical. But that is how spirit talks to me. But I unfortunately have to kind of relive that to give that message. So that's why mediumship isn't under me, because I have to like have 2 days off afterwards. But if I'm giving you a tarot reading, I will randomly say, hey, Grandma Beaver's here. I need you to listen to her right the fuck now. I'm sorry. I use that from a reading. I hope you're not offended what I just did.
I do that.
But, and then Michelle, listen, this traveling bitch.
It's a combination of all of the above. They will do the same thing. I'll just see that person. I'll have the smells. If they were a smoker, I'll smell the smells.
You go.
And
or
they come to me, or
well,
either
whatever,
or,
however you say
either
that.
Or, yeah, it's like just a merging of realities, and I'm
I
like
think
literally
your
there.
drama training is also very, because like I feel like when I've heard Michelle read, she's like, I am in a farm, like there's a river.
Michelle's
like,
readings are so different.
She's like astral traveled to the place, and she's there,
I'm
and
just
you're not.
telling them what I see, and whatever I see is whatever I'm gonna, and like it's kind of like with Kim. It's like, if this means something to you, fine. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep telling you what I see until something clicks with you. Now
that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Lately, they've been like jumping inside and like talking through me. Like it's like, I don't know where those words came from, but this motherfucker is telling you.
You have claircognizance in a way I haven't
have
seen in anybody else. Like Michelle will just
jump into
Michelle
me.
will just say shit, and she has no idea where it comes from, and it's so true and it's so right.
I'll have no idea.
Like, yeah.
She might hurt your feelings.
So
I will a lot of times hurt your feelings, and sometimes it happens like when I'm like literally in class teaching in college, and it's just like.
So yeah, spirit talks to everybody, and it's just in different ways. You just have to figure that out. A mediumship is just a different way. I think Kim is really good at it because a medium is like an interpreter. And if you grew up with our parents,
wow, that's fucking
it's another level.
Yeah.
Like that's when
That
Kim
just tied it.
when Kim and I figured that out, we were like, oh, that's why we can do mediumship, because when you're an interpreter, you can't be a person, you can't have any beliefs. You are a vessel.
You're a vessel.
And that's it.
You just give the message.
You just have to do
You're
that.
the glass of water on the altar.
And Kim and I did that as little kids, but Kim can do that language a lot easier. When I do it, it's a lot more explosive, but it's still spirit, and just, it all is, and there's just ways to develop it. Be proud of it when you find it, but that doesn't mean you have to sell it first. You have to develop it and work it,
I
hate it sometimes. We say we're not gatekeepers, but we're also.
Listen,
there's a gate.
Listen, mediumship is
keep mediumship.
Yeah,
You don't go to the Olympics the first time you pick up a fucking javelin.
Yeah. Listen, I want to
God, that's a fucking t-shirt. Yeah. But no, seriously, like, as someone who has had pop-up mediums fuck up their life before, it is a serious deal.
It's a sacred thing.
And I know a lot of you really want to prove yourself on a lot of our different posts and stuff, but like, this is sacred. And like, if you don't have ethics in your business, then you are contributing to everyone calling us scammers and bullshitters.
Yep.
So please don't do that.
Right. I'd like to bring up something. It was a series that was on Netflix called like Surviving Death or something that came out like at the beginning of the year.
I haven't watched it.
I watched it. I don't know who it's. I watched it, and I'll be honest to God, it did not sit right with me. I want to say, because I truly believe this, mediumship and talking to spirits and talking to your loved ones, if you sit with me, it is a sacred act, and I take it very seriously. I enjoy it. I love doing it, but it is healing for you and for me. I am not mediumship is not a dog and pony show. I'm not here to put on a spectacle and say, oh, I'm going to prove to you that I am a medium and I am valid. And what I'm saying, just to put it in your face. Haha, see, I can do it. I am not that type of medium. It does you no service, and it does me no service acting that way.
Right.
So it is not a dog and pony show. And that series, if you had watched it, there's a guy who just medium hops. He he has to constantly be proved that his father is with him all of the time. And if they don't get that one, he says he sends a secret code word to his father. And if the medium doesn't get it right, it's negated. This is not a game. This is not a gotcha. I will gatekeep mediumship if it comes from this, because that is not mediumship. It is not a, see, I told you I could do it. No, I do not approach people in the supermarket. First of all, I wouldn't want to be approached in the supermarket, like caught off guard. Like, I want people to be ready. I want people to talk to their people.
It's a lot to be in the supermarket and get a weird message from your dead lover.
Yeah. And if
you are not prepared when you're at the supermarket to like get that shit. You're not. You're not. That's why, like,
and
oh, God.
And that as well, if you are on TikTok and you watch a few, there are a lot of mediums on TikTok that I do respect and I admire. I just want to say that. But there are a few that, like, you know, they have one lesson and all of a sudden they're a medium. It takes training. It takes, you know, working with, because you have to work with yourself along with developing the craft, because you have to understand how spirit talks to you. Like Kyla says, she's a physical medium. It moves through her body. I'm more of the mental medium. I just see it, I know it, and I hear it. I don't have the same experiences, even though we're both mediums. So you have to, like, understand how it works for you, because if you don't, you're just...
We have a lot of people that come to us that want their gift in one way. And that's just not how it's going to happen.
Nope.
There's so many different clairs. There's so many different ways to get it. And just develop that. Don't focus on how Shanna sees it or how Kim sees it or how any of us see it. Figure out how you see it. If you need help with that, we can, like, look at your astrological chart, or we can just do a consultation with you.
Yep.
Like,
and that's kind of what we're talking about, the foundations, and which is what we're going to teach this summer. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't know how to meditate, if you can't quiet your mind and connect to spirit, you're not a fucking medium. You can't develop that practice without that.
Meditate,
you know what I mean?
every
Like,
day.
if you're making spell jars, but you don't know what rosemary's for, like, you shouldn't be fucking doing it. You know, it's like you got to have those foundational things in order to do this properly.
Right.
Which is why there isn't just one class that you take for mediumship that's going to make you a successful medium. You have to have the foundations first.
Yes. Which we're going to be teaching.
Yes, we are. Yes, we
and
are.
Kim's
Kim
here
will be
on
a part of it.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
She's here on Wednesdays. Come and see her,
Yes.
book with her,
Yes.
whether it's a reading with tarot, having her do some mediumship with you. Send us a message. Send her a message. S&K Kraftworks.
Yes. You can message
Kyla
us.
and Kim.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We're gonna have some unlocks with Kim.
Yes.
She'll be back.
She will be back. Thank
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.